Hello there. Welcome to my channel. My name is Brandon. Before we begin, I am a longtime Final Fantasy XIV player. I've been playing since 2014. I started off on Gladiator. I eventually switched to DPS during Titan Extreme because I was so frustrated with my DPS random pug members. So I switched to Dragoon, played that until Ninja came out, and I've been on Ninja pretty much ever since through Stormblood and Shadowbringers. I have a lot of parses. I love parsing. It's the most enjoyable part of the game for me. And if you're here, I suspect it might be for you as well, or you're interested in getting into it. So you're in the right place. Thanks for joining me, and let's get to it. 10 seconds into the fight, you use Huton, give yourself a speed buff, drop Doton at 4 seconds, reset, go into Suiton, regular opener. Because you see there, I mean, it's a free Doton. It's on the boss. Extra damage, a lot of extra damage, because Doton does a lot of damage. Basic opener stuff. We're danced, so it's going to be 50k plus. A really good dancer ninja opening can hit all the way up to 60k. That's if you're direct hitting like every single move. Okay, see here, the stack mechanic. We're in a pug group. You do not depend on your teammates for your run. Don't trust anyone. You move over the stack just in case. You be ready in case that player that needs to stack with you so that you don't die doesn't execute. Be ready to move. Take over. When you fail a parse run, you have no one to blame but yourself. If you're depending on your teammates to save you by doing the mechanics correctly, you're never going to get anywhere. Okay, here, one of the basics of Ninja is that you want to get as many mudras and avakakras into a trick window as possible, but here, after Obscure Woods, in order to drop your brambles with this strategy, we have to disconnect for brambles. You're going to lose GCDs. One of the deaths of your orange parse is losing GCDs. We're going to do a fun little thing here. I'm going to count the number of times that I clip GCDs. So what I do here is after hitting trick and arm's length in the same off-global cooldown window, I use melee range GCDs in the first part of the trick window, where usually you would immediately move on to your Raitons and your Hyoshos. The reason why I do that is because I don't want to use my ranged attacks before I have to disconnect from the boss. So here, boom, then Shadow Fang, and then I would usually use Hyosho here. Okay? But I'm saving Hyosho for when I have to place my Bramble. So I use a Gust Slash and another Bava. I get my Assassinate off before I have to move away from the boss. And it's very tight. And then I use Hyosho for when I'm away from the boss. Then Mudras. Ah, that's another thing. I capped on Mudras. I had 2 of them. That's not good either because that loses you a Mudra usage. So these are the things you need to be thinking about when you're optimizing your runs. Because that Mudra usage will come back and bite me in the butt later. Right? Now here I used Sprint because I wanted to break my bind as fast as possible and get back to the boss without losing a GCD. I'm debating whether it's worth it because I would like to have Sprint here for the anti-air phaser so that I could get even 1 more GCD off there before having to move. There's a cool little trick. So here, the stack AoE snapshots. See right there? And so I don't lose a GCD there even though I have to disconnect from the boss. I don't even clip. It's super smooth. Here I should have used Mug after the trick since I'm right there. I think I got a little impatient there and used it before. It's a relatively small mistake though. And there, usually I would use a Mudra into Tenshi Jin, but because Tenshi Jin had been off cooldown, I don't want to delay it any further and disconnect the cooldown. I don't know how Okra lived there. She triple stacked with us and lived. Another example here of getting every GCD you can in. I didn't move until the last second for that wide air, for that wide angle phaser. Now there I could have bobbed in and bobbed out. I didn't have to use a mudra there. The timing for that was perfect for melee GCDs. Now there's a lot of downtime in the fight. It's a matter of hitting your positionals. Making sure you don't overcap on ninki like I did right there. A little thing for you beginners. Here you see people are running to their positions to get in position as soon as possible. But you know, trick is still up and you want to hit your on-positional Aeolian Edge while saving true norths for this part of the fight where you're forced to hit a lot of off-positional attacks. There, I switched to the Hypercharged Cloud at the last second while prepping my Raiton so that I don't lose autos on the boss. Slight mistake there. I can use an Aeolian Edge here since I have True North, but I lost track of that. I use an Armor Crush instead. Beautiful. Good. Okay, don't panic there. You have a long time after your tile turns purple. I did a little bit because I'm not completely familiar with when that falls through. This part of fight is very straightforward. Do the mechanics, do your positionals. There's no forced downtime here, so there's very little to optimize. Again, overcap on mudras right there. It's twice now. I think 3 times. Again, you don't want to see 2 mudras. You only want to see 1. You want to use them preemptively all the time. You see 2 mudras, you're failing. There's a lot you can get away with. As soon as that cast bar ends, move. Right? So everyone else is kind of slow. Don't be like them. Be efficient. And be very precise. Because then you can get away with extra GCDs in random places that the average player doesn't see. This is a very awkward part of the fight. Very awkward. It's, man. Because you have to disconnect, and your Hyosho is up. But you weren't able to drop a trick. There's probably a scenario here where you can bob in and out and get that extra GCD without flipping. I haven't figured it out yet, though. So here I throw out a Hyosho while disconnected. Drop my Bramble outside of trick, which is not ideal, but it's better than clipping GCDs. Here, my Vine, like, why isn't it broken? So I slightly clip there. I'm gonna pop Sprint here. Yep. Can I get one more? No, I can't. See here, my Mudra's not up yet. You know why? Because I capped them out. I have to use throwing daggers here. That is such a loss. It's 110 potency. It's 100 potency. It's pathetic. I could have had a Raiton here for the disconnection, and then immediately Shukuchi back in and got an extra spinning edge. But instead I have to use throwing daggers, which is half the potency. So it's like a 100, 200 DPS loss. Yeah, see? That last gust edge, that last spinning edge that I didn't get in, that would have been that. So, man, these things really add up, these small mistakes. So, funny note, in In this fight, I'm 530 best in slot. Everything's best in slot, melded. Perfect. My personal best run on this fight, I didn't have recorded it, otherwise I would have used it, is with the 520 chest piece, the crafted one. And that run is better than this run in terms of GCD efficiency. And even though I'm in lower eye level, I do like 400 more DPS. Okay, you guys, do me a favor if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe. Helps me out a lot. I want to grow this channel fast, get this out to as many eyes as possible. And if you do any of those things, you're helping out immensely. So make sure that if you do subscribe, hit the bell notification button, fill that out so that you see my new videos when they come out. Otherwise, you're not going to see anything. Also, I am planning to stream on YouTube here. And if you're subscribed, you will see when I go live. You can hop in and we can hang out. It'll be a good time. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Later.